Good.
All right, ready?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons. Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side.
Hello, and welcome to Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast. Everything ever has happened with Star Wars. Welcome to episode 93. This
Hello.
is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Well, Michael,
We're back. And what a time to be back.
we're back with the content. Because everything ever has happened with Star Wars since our last episode, which was too long ago because we missed one because of things and personal reasons.
Personal reasons, my butt got stuck in a corn husker.
You always wanted to know what happened if you husked a butt. Now you know. It gets stuck.
Now you know.
Yeah, so for the uninitiated, observant, I don't know. For idiots.
A corn husker is a device that...
Yes,
No?
that's where I was going.
Oh.
No, Star Wars Celebration 2019 in Chicago took place this past weekend. Well, I guess it's more than a weekend
Thursday
now.
through Sunday.
Yeah, Thursday through.
Sunday,
well, technically
Sunday,
through
Sunday.
Monday. There's a little bit of nothing happening on Monday. And there was every freaking thing ever was happening.
Yep.
Constant stream of information blowing your pants off of you and back onto you.
It's a boomerang pants.
Yeah. Celebration, the show that'll change your pants.
Back into the same pants. Is it boomerang pants or is it a fresh pair of pants?
I like to think it's blowing off the pants that you've soiled because of how awesome everything was.
And new
And then it
pants.
just blasts new one right back on you. It's a full service pants blasting.
Full pants service.
Yeah, there was an episode 9 panel. There was a Mandalorian panel. There was a Clone Wars Returns panel. There was a Fallen Order video game panel. There was a Galaxy's Edge panel. There's
a Rebels panel.
there was probably a Rebels panel, but who would know?
Who would care about such things? Not
It's
us,
over.
that's for sure.
Let it die.
It was called Rebels Remembered, and it's only been off the air
I
for,
know.
what, a year?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Never forget. But we're also bringing back Clone Wars.
The show that you actually like.
Right.
The good one. We're bringing the good one back, guys.
Yeah, we can start with that. I mean, there was on Sunday there was a Clone
We're going
Wars.
to start there?
Well, just get the little piddly shit out of the way.
We got big things to talk about.
Yeah, we got to get this little shit out of the way and talk about the important stuff. There's a Clone Wars panel. There is a trailer. It's online. Go watch it. It looks really cool. Ahsoka's back.
Back with Anakin.
With 2 blue lightsabers.
Yeah.
Back with Anakin. There's
I watched the second part of the trailer without sound. Doesn't
help.
Does Anakin give her the sabers? Like, did he build those for her?
It kind of seemed like he gave them to her, yeah. Because
Did you watch it with sound?
He mentions, I can't remember his exact line, but he's like, he mentions like, oh, you look better with blue now, or something like that.
What a creep.
You look
2019.
good in blue. She's fighting Darth Maul, so Darth Maul is back.
Yeah, that was cool.
There's the what's
this
that?
This is the. Actually, no. This is pre Crimson Dawn, Darth Maul.
There were
because this is still between. This is before Revenge of the Sith.
There's still stuff with Mandalore happening.
Yeah, right.
There were Mandalorians in it. I'm trying to remember what that group of guys is. The bad bros. The Bad Batch. That's what they're called. No, the Bad Batch.
That's the bad ones.
The Clone Force 99, otherwise known as the Bad Batch. So the Kaminoans made genetic experiments to create super soldiers, and it never quite worked. 4 of those experiments came to form Clone Force 99, or as they called themselves, the Bad Batch. They were an elite group, and their methods were unorthodox. They had been, I believe...
Wait, wasn't 99 the the messed up dude on Camino? That was like
I think so.
was
So
that
there's
99 or was that what was his name?
there's Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, Crosshair, and Crosshair.
This is the YMCA.
They were pivotal in the mission to recover an algorithm from separatist forces on an axis.
Hunter, Tecker, Indian, cop.
Biker. There. So I believe, if I remember correctly, that the Bad Batch was in the cut stuff that Clone Wars never got to air, like the leftover episodes that they only had like pre-visual stuff for.
Yeah, that was 99. Number 99.
Yeah,
So was he part of that same batch?
I don't know. He may have been one of the
One of the batch.
batch that went bad.
Isn't that what he called himself? He was called himself a bad batch.
It might be. But I
Anyway.
believe there was some stuff with the Bad Batch that was cut.
Oh, it was named in his honor. Clone Force 99 was
Right.
named in his honor. I see.
So I think they were, the season that they only had like visual, like previs stuff for the Clone Wars, like some of those episodes that didn't really have finish to
I
them.
think so, yeah.
If I remember correctly, the Bad Batch was either mentioned or was in some of that stuff that they never really got to show, and so they've brought.
Was that the lost season, quote unquote, you're talking about, or
think
was
so.
this something else?
I think it was the lost season.
Because that was the one on Netflix.
There was some of the episodes or stuff that they aired or showed us that wasn't finished at all. Like some of the visuals weren't even completed. It was just like
Okay.
stills.
Huh.
But if I remember correctly, the Bad Batch was like never really ended up getting to be used. But so now they're bringing them back and using them
Okay.
as this elite group of clones, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, so they're back.
The trailer looked pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It looked good. Darth Maul's always cool. I mean, except for in Rebels. That's just everything in Rebels. No, I mean, as much as...
Well, hold on, real quick. A little trivia fact about Darth Maul. So that I learned just last week, or we were talking about it last week. Apparently, Peter Serafinowicz was asked to voice Darth Maul in Solo originally.
Yeah, he actually
And-
did. Like, he recorded his lines.
That's right, and he had a long discussion with Ron Howard about what Maul has been up to lately, and and recorded some lines and stuff, and then last minute was replaced by Sam Witwer
Yeah.
for continuity reasons, which
Right.
makes sense
Because, I mean, Whitwer's
But-
done Maul for everything other than Episode 1.
right, which makes sense, but it
kind of sucks.
it both made me feel good that they did ask Peter originally to come back and do
Right.
it.
They didn't tell him. They changed him, though.
Right, but at the same time, yeah, it sucks to not be able to hear his voice. Even as great as Sam Witwer is in everything he's done
Yeah.
of Maul, but
I mean, just because I guess the amount of people that would recognize his voice as Maul, they kind of have to do it. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I get the continuity thing, but like,
to have Ray Park back and Peter's voice would have been
That
really
would've been
cool.
really
But
cool.
but
especially since it was
anyway.
one line, like the few lines he had in Phantom Menace, like I don't think it would make that huge of a difference for him to sound weird for that one line.
a little bit different.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. But
So
anyway.
yeah, so Darth Maul's back, and Ahsoka is back for whatever reason. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to watch that. I'm glad it's.
I mean, I
glad
do
it's
like
coming.
this is kind of bridging Ahsoka for us a little bit. I mean, I know it's not covering a whole lot of time because you still
Right.
have the whole Revenge of the Sith timeline left, and then the years after that to where she becomes a Fulcrum
Right.
in Rebels. But it's giving us a little bit more of her backstory to find out. It is interesting to find out that she didn't just leave and then was gone for forever, and then became kind of this
I
great
mean,
Jedi.
it's probably just going to give some more closure to that storyline.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the way they left it is she just like walked off, and that was the end. It was like they've been together for years and
Right.
years, Anakin and her. And she walks off saying, I need to be away from this and away from you.
I mean, maybe
like,
it was
to figure
Order
herself out.
66 that sealed it for her to just leave for good,
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it'll be interesting to see because obviously she still leaves.
Yeah,
She has to. I mean, that's continuity.
right.
So it'll be interesting to see why she comes back and then how things then end with her and Anakin, because obviously Anakin's still Anakin at
Right,
that point when she
right.
leaves again. So what's that? I don't know. Is there even a driving force, or if it's just like, I'm still done, but I'm willing to help you.
Yeah, I wonder how far this is going to go into the timeline,
Right.
Like, is Ahsoka still around during Revenge of the Sith? That would seem a little strange, don't you think?
Like like involved.
Yeah, like is she still his apprentice technically?
No.
You would think she would have to be gone by then,
I don't
right?
think she ever comes back to being his apprentice.
So you think she'll cut and run again at the end of this?
I mean, I think she comes back probably to help with whatever's happening. Because, I mean, as in the trailer, as it shows, she's still on Coruscant. She's just like, it looks like
Right.
she's on some lower levels of Coruscant.
Yeah.
So she didn't like run that far. But, man, I don't think she's like coming back to the Order or anything.
Just coming back to help Anakin.
Probably. Or the clones.
Like I said, I didn't watch it with sound, so I don't really know what was going on.
I saw some images.
This looks cool. This looks like all the same people. So, all right. Cool.
Great. Thank you for your due diligence. Much appreciated.
I had other things on my mind, which we're avoiding talking about right now.
Fine. You want to talk about it?
Yes.
All
We're
right.
married now.
The Mandalorian.
No.
Oh, that we're telling that now. I see.
All right. Yeah. Let's move on.
Which one? Mandalorian or
Galaxy's Edge.
Okay.
That was disappointing.
Yeah, if you watched the Galaxy's Edge panel, you shouldn't have, and if you haven't, don't. That's it. That's all there's
We
to
got
say about
Star Wars Coke now. That's
it.
about it.
They're gonna lead up to an announcement, and it's what the Coke bottles look like on Betu. Literally, that's it. And then they tried to give out free shirts to compensate for that.
What?
They gave everyone that went to that panel got a free Coca-Cola shirt, but in Arbesh.
That's a little weird. Isn't that weird?
Every main stage panel, everyone got something like with their ticket afterwards.
With the Mandalorian panel,
They
that
got
seemed like it was
they
a
got
raffle.
posters.
Though.
They got posters afterwards.
That wasn't like a raffle.
No, you get like
thing?
a ticket on entrance, and then
Yeah.
you go to a distribution center to pick up your prize.
Oh, nice.
Episode 9, there's episode 9 beanies. That just have IX on them.
Huh.
Galaxy's Edge was a Coke shirt. Mandalorian was the Mandalorian posters.
Which
I
that
can't
was
remember some of the
probably
other
out
stuff.
of all of that. That's the coolest
The poster's really cool.
prize.
Um,
Anyway,
Yeah, so Galaxy's Edge, they really didn't say much of anything new. Just watch the trailer that they posted on the YouTube channel, and that's really all you need to see because it just gives you more visuals of the stuff that's coming out.
yeah. I mean, they probably don't have a lot more to show than what was just shown at some of the financial calls and
Right. I mean, it was the same
And other
information
stuff.
they just gave with those big blog posts that they had recently.
right.
Um,
Yeah,
which
we
is
got
kinda
there's a
disappointing.
lot of stuff dropped there. I don't really see what else they could do until construction's done. You know, and they actually
Yeah.
have. I mean, they were going through. They had Galaxy's Edge merch, a demo of the merch that was going to be sold.
And, I mean,
a lot of really cool stuff.
really cool stuff. I mean, just again, like we've talked before, how nothing's branded, nothing's Disney or Star Wars. It's trying to be in universe as possible.
Right.
But like just like the stormtrooper armor for, I mean, even children. Like there's
Yeah,
replica
yeah.
armor, replica weapons, and the stormtrooper shields, and like resistance clothes. Just like there's just cool jackets and shirts and stuff that's
Yeah, yeah.
just in the style of Star Wars clothes
Right.
that look really cool.
Right.
And then of course in the background of some of those pictures of the merch, there you've got like holocrons and just really cool Star Wars stuff.
Flags, banners.
Yeah,
that
and they
kind of thing.
announced there's going to be Black Series figure sets that are only going to be available at Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, really?
So I'm really interested to
Oh,
see
that
what
droid pack that you sent me.
yeah, there's one with
Yeah.
with R2, C3PO, DJ Rex and BB-8.
Yeah.
There's one with I think it's Chewbacca, Rey, and Finn maybe.
Hmm.
And then there's another I think with like Kylo Ren. I think it's Commander Pyre, the gold stormtrooper.
Interesting.
And somebody
Kylo,
else.
Commander Pyre, and somebody else.
I think that's who it was.
Huh.
I'm just interested to see the packaging for those because they didn't show the packaging; they just showed the figures. So if you're selling Black Series figures in the park, it obviously can't be the Black Series boxes that all the Black Series come in at Target and wherever else.
That's a good point. I wonder what that's.
So I'm interested to see how that works, or if it's just park exclusive and not actually in Galaxy's Edge.
Maybe. Yeah.
They're gonna have like a Star Wars shop outside of Galaxy's Edge. Where you can buy
Just
the
right
where you can buy the
outside.
branded stuff.
It's it's like duty free.
Yeah.
The duty free shops.
I mean, they talked about making your own. They talked about Doc Ondar's place, and the lightsaber building thing. But it's all the same information we've already gotten.
Right.
So I mean, I'm still excited for it, but I wish they would have shown us.
Thinking about
something.
that thing from last Celebration.
Yes.
Or not last one, because the last one was Europe probably, but the one that was here in Orlando a couple years ago, where they talked about Galaxy's Edge for the very first time. I think it was the very first time.
Yeah,
right?
it was the same guy that was hosting the Galaxy's Edge panel this year.
Oh,
Or
really?
no, that was Josh Gad this year. It was the same guy that was hosting the. What was the other panel that wasn't Galaxy's Edge? That was somewhat important. No, he was the one that did the Jedi Fallen Order panel. That same guy did the Galaxy's Edge panel last Celebration.
Okay.
And
Well, that was the first
he was
time
the
we
one
got-
that was talking about lightsabers and stuff.
Yeah, so the real lightsabers thing that he was talking about that he said he saw, is that just the lightsaber building experience that he was talking about? Or was
I
it?
wonder.
It's got to be something, because what he was saying made it sound like
Right.
they actually made a real lightsaber that can ignite and everything. And I don't understand. They haven't mentioned that again or teased it or anything else. It was just that one line from him.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing left, I think, that I really want to see.
Yeah. That's something I wanted to see more of. And, just even the rides, they didn't even show anything other than, like, the only thing they really showed was some more of the outside area for Rise of the Resistance, but you didn't even get to see like new stuff from within the ride. Like, they want you to experience it more than see it because it's a real place. So you have to like do the thing instead of just seeing the thing.
They
But,
want you to pay.
well, that too.
You will pay.
So Galaxy's Edge is still
there.
still excited,
Still
but
happening.
not anything new.
Next. Fallen Order.
Okay. Fine. Jedi Fallen Order looks really cool.
I kept thinking when I was watching the footage for that, the in-game footage, it looks a lot like the what do they call it? It wasn't a demo. It wasn't a
Kabuki Theater.
It's okay.
No, I don't know. What are you going for?
Do you remember I forget what it was called. The old game that got canned a long time ago that they showed footage from.
Level 69, level 68. It's level something because it was on Coruscant and it was about the level of Coruscant that it was on.
Don't you remember that playable thing that they had? They showed in-game footage and it was him on a ship that was crashing and it looked like an Uncharted game.
Right. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Anyway, that's what this game reminds me of, just with a different setting and story.
Yeah.
Like the type of gameplay, it's all single player. They said that.
They very specifically no multiplayer, no microtransactions. It is just a single player cinematic experience.
It feels like they were really throwing shade at EA when they were talking about that.
Well, if you look at it, like even in articles online with Respawn, like Respawn is using like key anti-EA words. Like this is not an EA game. This is a Respawn.
They're trying to make it very clear that it's their game and EA does not is not going to fuck this up.
Yeah, and, I mean it looks really good.
It does. I'm
the
excited
trailer
to play
was
it.
just a cinematic trailer. There was no actual gameplay footage, but they said the trailer was all in engine. So from a graphics standpoint, it looks good. The storyline sounds cool. You've got a Jedi that survived Order 66. He's kind of laying low, working for a mining or a scrappers guild.
Yeah.
Scrapping old ships from the wars.
And apparently he still is in contact with his old master, but they're both trying to lay low.
Right. Yeah, so his master's still there.
That's a cool story that I'd be interested to see.
Right, yeah. I mean, and then you've got the Inquisitors find out about him, and the second sister is the one that comes after him.
Yeah, that was cool that they're bringing the Inquisitors back for this game. That's
and
neat.
so the second sister is the one that's after him in the trailer. And you've got new troopers, the Purge troopers. That I don't know. Did you get to watch the panel on that?
I saw some of that part.
So the description of the Purge troopers was like when they get word, when anyone gets word that there might be a Jedi in an area, they send in the Purge troopers. Like they're good enough to be able to try to wear down a Jedi for the Inquisitor to get there and finish him off.
Okay. Yeah, they were specifically trained to fight Jedi.
Like, yeah, they're a new thing just for the video game. Like the Purge Troopers are specifically trained to handle Jedi, basically.
Interesting.
Which sounds pretty cool. Because they were saying like, yeah, the first enemy we built in the game is just regular stormtrooper, but you just you could blast through waves of those as a Jedi. So we were trying to come up with a villain or something that's not like a main villain, but just a little heavier of an enemy, and they came up with the Purge Troopers, and then they had a live Purge Trooper on the stage, which looked really cool.
Nice. Yeah, it'd be cool to get like some figures released.
It reminds me of the what are the droids, the like assassin droids that
oh yeah,
I forget what they're called.
The something Death Squad.
Yeah,
from Force Awakens.
It's basically like the stormtrooper version of those. They have these big staffs. They've got black armor, and they're trained to fight Jedi, basically.
Well, wait, who are you talking about?
I'm thinking of Grievous's guys,
guards?
And then even the ones that are in Clone Wars that help fight the Jedi, like those assassin droids with the staffs that have the electro blades on the end.
Oh, well, there are literally the assassin droids,
right? But they're like those types that at least can kind of fight Jedi, like Grievous's guys as well.
Yeah, the Grievous guard.
Yeah,
things.
So it's like the stormtrooper version of those, basically.
Interesting.
Like they have staffs, they can fight Jedi. It just made me think of those from an idea standpoint.
All I can think of Peruvian Death Squad. That's
Peruvian Death Squad.
What is the name of the people from Force Awakens? That's what I thought you were talking
Guavian
about.
Death Gang.
Guavian Death Gang.
The Peruvian Death Squad. That's probably a real thing, and you just called them out. And we're gonna find you dead. Pretty soon. Great, thanks. Yeah, Fallen Order. It comes out November 12th. Was it?
No, that's Mandalorian.
Shit. 14th, I think.
Is it really
I think
the
it literally.
same week?
I literally think it's like the same week.
Jeez, everything's gonna drop at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, and that's only gonna be a few weeks before.
I was just gonna say
episode 9.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, the park opens. Just what is it? The previous month? Is it August or is it September?
August in Florida.
August. So the park is going to be open a few months before. Then we get Mandalorian. Then we get this game, and then the next month is everything's going to happen just back to back like that.
Yeah, no, it's a really rough holiday season.
Money, wallet wise,
emotionally, financially. November 15th. Yeah, so
same week.
Yeah, so Mandalorian first episode comes out November 12th. You've got Jedi Fallen Order November 15th. Yeah. You've got episode 9 December
probably 14th or 15th, something like that.
Probably. They didn't give a date.
No,
they just said
there
December.
hasn't been a date yet.
That's gonna be a rough go. I'm gonna have to like take a leave of absence from work
for 3 months.
Yeah. Just I'm gonna need like an emotional support day.
I'm gonna need 3 months front pay, and I'm just gonna have to be gone for a little while.
You know when you take like what is it, like a wellness day or whatever when you take off like that? I'm just gonna need like a wellness month and a half,
wellness quarter.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a wellness quarter. Just I really need to
get well.
You know what I mean? I'm dressed up like in Star Wars. And like a Star Wars costume.
You walk into your boss's office like in cosplay.
Yeah.
So
like
I'm gonna need to
got a magic band on because I'm like heading to Disney. Yeah.
Yeah, you stop by the office on your way in.
Yeah.
On your way to Disney.
As you can see from the way I look, I've got a problem. I'm gonna need some time.
You don't even mention Disney or anything. You just, hey, I'm gonna need some time. I've
got Mickey ears on. Right. Yeah.
I'm feeling a little sick.
Right. Yeah. That's
you blow your nose like as you're making eye contact. Is this working?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be rough.
Okay, next.
Jedi Fallen Order looked cool. Anyways, buy it. I don't know. It's on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, they said.
Hooray.
Mandalorian.
Oh boy.
Now we're getting into the shit. This is the real shit.
All right, so bittersweet panel.
It's a rough panel. People even that were there said it was disappointing.
Because first right off the bat, nobody asked any questions of Carl Weathers, which really
That's
pissed
what
me
people were
off.
saying is they brought out the cast and the cast just sat there while Filoni and Favreau talked.
Which is fine. Have a separate panel with Filoni and Favreau, just them. I'm sure they
Right.
could fill an hour just talking about George Lucas conversations alone.
Right, yeah.
That would be really interesting. I would definitely see that. Pedro got to share a little bit about, playing, how cool it was to play the Mandalorian. And he's such a cool guy. You can't really hate on him for anything.
No, yeah. But yeah, you got Carl Weathers up there and he's just
sitting there. I mean, didn't answer any questions. But anyway, that's a separate thing. The show itself.
So there was footage, and if you haven't seen it, you have to go find it because they cut the stream for both sequences of footage they showed.
There were 2 sequences of footage. One in the middle of the panel, which was, it sounded like
BTS.
Yeah, right. Behind the scenes stuff where they showed some footage of the sets and actors and stuff apparently. And then so they played that and they cut the stream for it. They just put up a banner.
Like the stream. It is like the panel will be back in 3.5 minutes.
Right. And so then apparently at the end they showed actual footage from
trailer,
the show,
like the trailer for the show.
Well, there was actual footage.
No,
like
it was a teaser. It was a trailer for the show.
Wasn't it a whole scene?
Did you not watch it?
No.
Okay, I've got it. I'll show it to you.
It was a whole scene. Oh yeah, we said we were going to watch it before we hit record.
It was like the trailer for the show.
Oh, okay.
Like a full-on trailer with different sequences and stuff like that.
Well, what was the whole scene with Werner Herzog's character? Was that in the middle?
I think that's in the BTS stuff. That had like BTS and some actual footage stuff from the show as well.
Okay, well anyway, the point is they cut the stream for both times. And even worse, on the end when they showed the actual trailer, they made it seem like the panel was done.
They're like, all right, let's say bye to the people that were at home streaming. Thanks everybody.
And so then they cut it off like, okay, well that's it for the panel. And then the panel kept going. They showed more footage.
If you find the video, he's like, all right, well, we've got some more stuff for you guys. He's like, well, let's just roll something else for you. And then they showed like this whole trailer for the show.
So, and then what made it even worse, apparently, is that the people in the satellite rooms actually at Celebration were watching the same stream, and that got cut.
It cut the footage for the trailer and the BTS thing in the middle.
So even the people there that weren't in the main hall,
they still can't figure out the actual functioning of Celebration. It's such a mess.
All right, anyway, let's talk about the actual show.
The show looks really good. I mean, so they were talking about, obviously, just like authenticity and stuff like that. And
did you get to watch the whole panel? Or some of it?
I watched most of it, and then I watched both the videos.
Okay. In the very beginning, it was just Filoni, Kathleen, Filoni, and Favreau all came out. Mm-hmm. And Kathleen talked for just a minute about how long she's been waiting to do this and how great it's going to be and, how much she trusts these two guys. And so then she gets off the stage and then it's just Filoni and Favreau talking together. And Favreau's talking about how he has, like, Mandalorians have always been the most interesting to him as far as a race or characters go in the Star Wars universe.
Right.
And how when he first watched A New Hope and saw the cantina scene, that just really stood out to him, all the different characters and different stories they could have and stuff. And it was just like, this is the perfect guy to be doing the show. Right. Someone who's just was already a fan of the Mandalorian people and just the setting for the show, which is like the outer reaches of the galaxy. And
it really looks like Tatooine.
These really chaotic, crimey type stuff. But yeah.
And he was talking about, I mean, they were talking about the ship the Mandalorian has,
the Razor Crest.
The Razor Crest.
It's called.
Like they built models for the ship. All the passes, all the stuff, and with filming, they actually filmed models, and they even showed some of that of how they had sequences of showing them how they were doing passes on the models and building the lights into the model for the engines and all that stuff. Like it looked beautiful,
right?
Using actual models instead of doing
CGI,
all the CGI and all
stuff.
that. Yeah. Because Favreau was saying before, like on other stuff he's done, he's wanted to do models, and they never really let him do it because of just the cost and the time.
Right.
And of course, with Star Wars, it's like, how can you not? Like that's what we.
You want to
that's
get
what
it
we-
right.
That's what we do.
Right. You want to really get that feel
Not to mention,
right.
you still have model builders, right, that have worked on like almost all the movies.
Right.
And so yeah, that model looked great, and then the shots they showed of the ship flying through starfields and stuff with the model was really really cool looking.
It's funny. He was talking at one point about how the once the word kind of got out that this show was in production, people at ILM, he was saying, were just kind of coming out of the woodworks as they would find out that this was happening.
Okay.
And they would like get to the point where like suddenly you find out John Knoll knows about the show, and he's like built a rig in his garage and wants to like show some stuff to like, because he's all excited about it. He's just doing all this stuff on his own time.
Yeah, at his house, in his workshop, in his garage.
Right. And other people like that. It's so funny. But yeah, it was, like I said, it was cool just to see Filoni and Favreau together. I mean, they're both really cool guys, but Filoni to be like the George Lucas heir, you know, kind of involved in this, and then paired with somebody who is already such a huge Star Wars fan and really understands.
And they both
the
seem
feel.
actually like really excited about it too.
Yeah, that's my point.
Not just talking about it, like they legitimately seemed excited.
That's
about
my point. It seems like such a great collaboration.
Yeah, I mean the Mandalorian. They didn't give him a name or anything. He's still just called the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
They gave the character names for Carl Weathers' character and the girl, and I cannot remember.
Gina, something with a C. Gina C.
Sure.
Right? I can't remember.
Brain has totally left me.
Carla Dune is the Gina's character. I forget.
Yeah, Gina Carano.
Carano. It's a K sound.
Okay.
Anyway, her name's Carla Dune, right?
Right.
Something like that. She's an ex-rebel shock trooper, which that was new. We didn't know.
Awesome.
And then we actually saw a picture of her in the panel. She's got she's got one of those big two-handed blasters that the Imperial shock troopers use too. Really cool looking. And then Carl Weathers is like a
Cara Dune.
Cara Dune.
Either Cara or Cara. It's Cara.
All right.
And then Dune.
Okay. And then Carl Weathers' character, I forget his name, but he's a Grief.
I'll find it.
But he's kind of like he finds jobs for the Mandalorian. Like he's a partner.
Reef Karga.
Reef.
Yeah, Reef Karga.
Okay. But yeah, he's like he finds jobs for the Mandalorian. Yeah, he's a contact of some sort. That'll be pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, he's like a bounty hunter. Like he's kind of almost like in charge of like this bounty hunter guild.
Yeah,
or something.
Right.
Which is interesting. It's an interesting, like, just I don't know, side of the universe that we've always wanted to see, right? Like that's something we always want, something with the bounty hunters, and we don't get too much of it. But this is just like almost like the business side of it.
Yeah,
it's like the guy handing out the jobs, and this is.
I really like this. I mean, the more I hear about the show, I'm so excited for this. I mean, they were talking all about inspiration for the feel of the show, the setting. They were talking about how, you know, Westerns and samurai movies and just how I think it was it was Favreau. He was giving examples of like the chaos after the Civil War, where like this big battle has been won, but nothing is really fixed. So everything just kind of descends into chaos for a little while. Or he was talking about how like the West, how the West was after, like, just in the years before order and progress started to show up. Like, you know, it's like all these old chaotic kind of crime scene, and how order is starting to slowly be pushed on these people, and, you know, all the old souls are dying off. And
then you got people like you got Werner Herzog, who's playing some like imperial government official, because he has like this like gold medallion hanging around his neck, like he's some kind of official. And in the shot, he has like 4 dirty stormtroopers with him, and he's sitting at a table in a dirty room, and I guess I don't know if he's on the run or something, needing to contract the Mandalorian forever. But he holds out a contract it's like a with a billet of it's a contract saying something about a billet of Beskar, which is the type of iron they use to make the Mandalorian armor.
Yeah. Mhm.
And he's saying the Beskar belongs back in the hands of a Mandalorian, and
It's a super rare.
it is good to
metal.
restore the natural order of things after a period of such disarray. Don't you agree? So there's this like almost like imperial official, like government type official that seems like he's kind of on the run or hiding.
Interesting.
And you've got the Mandalorian that he's contracted to get, the Beskar for the armor.
Yeah.
Which is
It's like these years after this big battle against the Empire
This
has
is 5
been
years
won.
after, I think it said, or it's in the.
It's very short after.
I think it said it's 5 years after Jedi, or
Yeah.
it's within the 5-year time span after Jedi.
Mhm. Yeah, it's pretty recently, pretty close to that. But it's like after this big battle, the way Favreau was describing it, it's after this big battle has been won against the Empire, which is a great thing, but before the New Republic really establishes itself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's no order. Everything just kind of descends into chaos and tribalism, and
Right.
everybody's out for themselves. It just sounds like such a cool setting for the show.
Yeah, and then you have. So we always thought it was IG-88 that was going to be in the show too, but apparently it is actually IG-11. That's in the show.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's obviously like the same model, so it looks like IG-88, right?
Yeah.
But there's a shot of him in the trailer, blasting, and it's just like he's standing there, but his top half, his torso, is just like twisting around, shooting at things. So it's like he's like doing the whole like equilibrium, like shooting guns over his shoulder and to the left and to the right and all.
Oh, wow.
But his torso is also just like twisting like 90-degree angles, just like turning in place, just shooting people. It's so creepy and disturbing, like this just death robot.
Yeah.
That's just standing there, like just twisting and spinning and shooting and over his shoulder and around, just like not even because it's this soulless head.
Yeah.
Because of the way like IG-88's head, it just looks like I don't know, it's like a tiki torch. It's just like this head that it's just like this thing that's just staring, just spinning and shooting, just handing out death to everything.
I hope that we get
Super
some kind of
creepy
backstory about, like, did he come from Halloween Laboratories just like IG-88 did?
I mean, we
he-
would have to assume
Is he connected to IG-88 at all?
that'd be interesting.
What was this? IG-88 became sentient, right? Was he, or he rebelled somehow against his
it's-
creators and killed everybody?
Yeah, it's
and
been a long time ago since
I think he even
remember that.
helped free other assassin droids, and then he went off to become a bounty
That
hunter.
may be one of them.
Yeah, so this could be one.
And then they ended up
Well,
using
something else Favreau was saying too was that one of the main goals for the show was both to give new fans kind of this new setting with new characters to, so they
Yeah.
don't feel like they're being alienated by a bunch of stuff they've never seen before. But then also,
How dare you be inclusive?
but then also, he said, for all those fans that have been with Star Wars for 40 years, there is a lot of stuff in here that you guys are going to recognize and really love.
Yeah.
Like, that really made me happy to hear that, which means, and he even mentioned pulling from stuff from the EU back into canon. So yeah, a lot of like IG-11, maybe his backstory, like that can be an example of
I mean,
something.
when they were talking about like stuff that was inspiration, they called out Caravan of Courage,
Oh yeah,
which is the
Yeah.
Ewok adventure,
Right.
which is that the second one, or is that's the second one? I think, or
I
no,
think
that's the
it's the
first
second.
one. Maybe I can't remember.
I think it's the second one, isn't it?
I think so.
Because the little life, not Life Day. Life Day is a holiday special.
Where's the?
I-
No,
I'm
because the
pretty-
second one is Ewoks: The Battle for Endor. So I think the Caravan of Courage is the first one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically, remember we watched that? It's like the Lord of the Rings version of an Ewok adventure. It's so bad.
That was really bad.
They kept naming that as one of the inspirations for the show, which is pretty funny.
Pedro shit on the holiday special at one point, and like half the audience started to boo. And it was funny watching his face, and Filoni sitting right next to him just going, interesting, as he's like shitting on it. And the audience starts booing, and Pedro just gets this look on his face of just like confusion. Like,
Well,
"Wait,
the other thing Pedro
I thought
said,
you guys didn't like this. Like,
the
that
other
was,
thing Pedro said when it was an accident, he was like, "Yeah, it's like it's like the first Star Wars TV show," and Filoni was like, "Really,
yeah.
Really?"
Right.
Like Filoni's was the first like TV series
Well, he said live action after that. He meant live action.
Yeah, and he meant live action. And they're like, what
But-
about the holiday special? And what about...
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's just funny having Filoni.
He was like, series, live action series. It's the first live action series. That's what I meant.
It's just funny to have Filoni there with all of this knowledge that he has.
Right.
All this deep knowledge.
And he's been like, he's been in charge of most of Star Wars television, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
Other than the initial Clone Wars miniseries.
I mean, he was having... George Lucas was creating things for Clone Wars when it was on and talking to Filoni.
Because there was that
about
original miniseries that was in like the Samurai Jack. I can't remember that guy's name. The Samurai Jack anime
Jendi
style.
Tartakovsky, yeah.
Yeah. So that before, other than that, everything else has been from Filoni on TV, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's crazy. So I mean, yeah, he knows obviously everything about all of the things that have been on TV related to Star Wars.
Right.
But yeah, I from the footage, and I'll show it to you after this, you idiot. It's all fantastic. It looks
I meant
great.
to watch it.
But sources have confirmed, not mine, just ones I read on the internet, that when Disney Plus launches on November 12th, they said The Mandalorian is going to be available. The first episode is going to be available on the 12th.
Well, yeah, it's day one. They've already said that.
But just the first
times now.
episode. It's not like they're just dumping the show.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like. So no one knows yet what the release schedule is going to look like. If it's going to be weekly or if they're going to.
I would imagine weekly.
I would assume weekly.
At least.
That's kind of how like Hulu does with some of their shows.
Yeah.
Which I mean, they've seen how that's at least worked for Hulu. So if it's worked well, then I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because if you drop shows weekly, people can't just sign up for that free month and watch the whole show.
Right.
They gotta pay at one point.
Well, there's no free month.
Not yet.
With this, right? With Disney Plus.
Not yet. I'm sure that there'll be something.
Yeah.
It'll probably be a free week. You wouldn't give people a free month.
So yeah,
a
the
Disney
panel
thing.
ended up being cool in that it just kind of hyped everybody up a little bit more, but they didn't really show.
They
a whole
didn't give
lot.
the world the information. They just gave the people in the room like the cool stuff.
Literally
so
that room.
you have to go out of your way to go find the videos to see all the cool stuff that they released, which is weird.
And he rides a dewback.
Oh, there's like a
in this.
There's a picture which I think it may just be concept art because it's not like a live shot. Obviously, there's no live dewbacks, but it wasn't like a on-set shot. But there is the Mandalorian on a dewback. So one
with the rifle, right? Does he have the rifle on his back? Yeah.
So one, that's the most important thing ever to have somebody that rides a dewback because just awesome. But two, are dewbacks native to Tatooine?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think so.
I mean, even all the stuff that happened in this show, it really looks. I mean, in the trailers, it really looks like Tatooine. The buildings, the cantina.
Oh, it has to be.
I mean, I don't think they've confirmed it anywhere that I remember.
Yeah, they're native to Tatooine. That's what I thought.
So I don't think it's been confirmed anywhere that I remember seeing it. But this all has to take place on Tatooine.
Yeah.
Which is also, I think,
maybe not all of it, but some of it.
Which I mean, again, they've shown R5D4. Yeah. Am I saying that? Have I lost my mind?
No, yeah, it's R5.
It's R5. For some reason, it sounded very wrong. There's been shots of R5D4 as well, which of course he was on Tatooine, which is what we were talking about.
That's true.
We were talking about that a while back, saying so if R5's there, this has to be Tatooine, right?
Yeah.
So I think at this point, it's got to be confirmed. This is Tatooine.
Some of it, at least, yeah.
Yeah, at least, yeah. Some part of the show is definitely on Tatooine with Reef and all the deserty stuff that they showed in the trailers and everything.
Right.
So that's cool too. We'll get even more Tatooine stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tatooine stuff, let's talk about episode 9.
Is it time?
Oh, it's time.
It's time.
We're
an hour in.
We're well into the episode, so strap on your britches.
We're
so
an
we
hour
can
in.
blast them
and
off.
We got an hour and a half to go.
Right.
Because we could spend all night talking about this.
I'm sure we'll keep talking about this every episode for the rest of until it comes out. It looks cool. All right. Good times.
That's been Hokey Religion for this week.
No, so I mean, they had the panel. Definitely go watch the panel. I think the entire panel was good.
Yeah.
And then of course they gave us a title and a trailer at the end of the panel.
Yep.
So it's episode.
Let's talk about the panel before we get into the actual trailer.
Okay, so episode 9.
Let's tease this out a little bit here.
So episode 9.
Yeah.
I mean, so Stephen Colbert was the one hosting it. They had JJ. They had
Which was good. He was a good choice.
he was good. I like that.
The questions he was asking were really good, I thought.
It was pretty funny. So they had JJ, they had Kathleen, of course, Daisy Ridley and John Boyega and Oscar Isaac and Kelly Marie Tran,
And Jonas.
Suotamo,
Naomi Aki was
Naomi
there.
Ackie,
And
Billy
of
D.
course,
Williams,
Billy D. Williams.
and Anthony Daniels,
Oh, yeah.
which that was a surprise to me that he was on that
there.
because he typically isn't. But at the same time, like if this is the last movie, this is the one guy that's been in every single one.
Yeah.
So I think that was really cool and important for him to be up there.
Yeah. Definitely.
Um,
And they gave him a little bit of his a moment to shine too. Like
Yeah. And all that bullshit he's been talking about on Twitter forever and acting like he's gotten a freaking stroke. He has a memoir coming out.
which they announced the title for it, and I
It's
didn't look it
I
up.
think it's called Being C-3PO.
Oh, really? That's the title they went with?
Yeah.
And
So he was complaining about how they wouldn't let him do the title that he wanted. They said it wouldn't make sense to enough people.
the title he wanted to do was Telling the Odds.
Telling the Odds.
Which that's such a great title.
Which as soon as he said that, I started laughing. I was like, that's perfect. And my wife's like, I don't get it. I'm like, well, time to move out.
And it's funny because he said it there and everybody cheered.
Right.
Of course, everyone
That's
there
a
is going to get it.
Perfect. I mean, who is going to read that book that doesn't know anything about Star Wars?
Exactly. That's my point.
But if I remember correctly, it's called Being C-3PO, which I definitely want to read now.
I do want to read that. Yeah, a memoir over every era of Star Wars. I mean, that's incredible. Yeah, I do really want to read that.
So I think that was cool because when they brought him out, I was like, that's weird. He really hasn't been on any of these panels.
It's weird that he hasn't been, or it's weird that he was here?
He's usually not on any of the film panels for stuff like this. I mean, he's obviously C-3PO and he's important, but he's obviously also not like, I don't know, the new main cast or I don't know. You've got people like Dominic Monaghan or other people they might want to bring out. But
I will say, related to that, it was really bumming me out reading Mark Hamill's tweets during Celebration.
About Star Wars or
just in general,
anything?
Because he wasn't there
right
at this panel. They said, or he had tweeted because it was of scheduling conflicts. He was doing a lot of press for like Nightfall and some other stuff that he's doing. The voiceover for Child's Play, I think.
I don't know. The book's called. Sorry, it's called I Am C-3PO. Anyways,
okay. Yeah, so it's like scheduling conflicts. And Tyler and I were talking about this, trying to figure out like why this is a big deal. Yeah. This is not only is it a movie centering around him, or at least his legacy and his family, but it's the last Star Wars movie ever, which he's been in since the beginning. So to not have him there was it was odd. We were trying to figure out, like, is he not there for a reason? Is he not there
because he can't keep his mouth shut?
Well, yeah, is he not there for logistical reasons like that? Or practical reasons like that? Is it, I don't know. It was very odd. And then reading his tweets during it, they're so salty. And I can't, his tweets are usually really sarcastic.
Well, yeah, but these seem like legit. Like, I don't know, as much as you can read into it, yeah.
I think I'm reading into it because his tweets are pretty sarcastic always.
Yeah.
About whatever he's tweeting about. But it's hard not to read into it with some of the things he said. And I don't know, that bums me out to think about that. I really hope that's not the case.
Right.
About how he's just a little bit bitter about Luke's arc in this new trilogy.
So yeah, you've got Anthony Daniels, and then Billy D. Williams was out there talking about being Lando, and they were, was it hard getting back into character? He's like, "What are you talking about? Lando never left," and just
that was great,
just being the smoothest person ever.
That was great.
And then you got the new cast, and then you've got Naomi Ackie who's up there, and they're asking her, so like, are you asking her basically if she's Lando's daughter, and without saying it, I mean, she obviously tried to avoid the question as much as possible, but it seems like she has to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the way she was looking around and the way people were acting, like, I think I don't know. I don't see how she wouldn't be Lando's daughter.
Yeah.
Especially if she's main character enough to have been up there on the stage.
Yeah.
She has to be Lando's daughter, right?
What? For her to answer like that to a direct question, yeah, and then be a part of the panel with Billy D. Williams and all that, you'd think that would be the case, but
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Right. And then of course you had BB-8 up there, live BB-8, and then you also had the new
Dio,
Dio, the buddy droid.
BB-8's little buddy Dio, which I don't like the design of that droid, but
He
whatever.
he looks like the Pixar lamp. Got a wheel.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he
it's
just
the
looks,
Pixar lamp head with a giant wheel.
he just looked so slapped together. I'm sorry for everyone who worked on him, who of course is listening.
It
to
was
the
super
podcast.
interesting to me to see the live one, and like these guys are so good. Like, how is that thing not falling over? Because it's just a wheel, right? Like,
It's an incredible feat of engineering.
yeah,
Sure.
but from a droid in a movie, like it looks like a really shitty little droid. Like, why would anyone have this in space?
Do you remember the SpongeBob episode where he draws something on a piece of paper and it comes to life? That's what it looked like.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's almost like he's too small. Like he's like half of BB-8 size.
Yeah, like we've
Like
already
it's so
gone
small,
from
it's not useful.
we've already gone from R2, which was a little person
Waist
size,
high, yeah, like waist high.
to a tiny little ball. Why do we need to go smaller than
This
that?
guy is like he's got some height on a mouse droid, but like even it's concerningly small.
Yeah.
Like anyone has to just like touch him and just like break it,
But-
just like snap his head off and it's done.
I mean, whatever.
Whatever. We're talking about the droids more than getting into this damn movie.
We're teasing it out, Tyler.
Oh, tease it.
Tease it.
So, I don't know what else.
JJ talked about Carrie Fisher and just
Reusing
how,
scenes and stuff.
yeah, just how much she was missed, and how much that affected everything. But at the same time, how when you watch it, he was just amazed at how it worked to
Yeah.
have her scenes in there, and how it didn't feel forced or wrong or anything like that.
Yeah, and I can't remember the guy's name, but I one of the guys working on The Force Awakens who talked to him and recommended him to not show Leia until she arrived on Takodana. And just to have more weight behind that scene and her arriving. And because of that guy, and I can't remember his name, who told him to do that, they had all this extra footage from Force Awakens that they weren't going to
Interesting. I
use
didn't know
because she
that.
didn't show up. Because she was originally going to show up before that.
Huh. Interesting.
So because of that, so it's almost like this because of this guy's idea, like to put the weight and the emotional weight behind her showing up finally at Takodana, like they ended up having all this footage they didn't use,
Interesting.
and so because of that, we now have the ability to have her in Episode 9.
Yeah.
Um,
JJ confirmed that this does pick up some time later.
there is a time jump.
So there's definitely a
It
time
seemed-
jump, as
it was
rumored.
like a significant. They wouldn't say if it was like a significant time jump. No one like really confirmed time wise, but even Daisy Ridley was saying, yeah, it's sometime later. She's had some time to process. Stephen Colbert asked her if she's read any of the books, any of the Jedi texts yet.
Yeah.
And she's like, maybe she's read some of them. Maybe she hasn't had enough time to get through all of them, but we could probably assume maybe, like type of thing. Colbert asked John Boyega if Phasma, and like they pretty much definitively said she's dead.
Well, John Boyega, was very.
He's like,
confident that-
she dead.
But I can't. What did he say it that clearly though?
He did at one point. He's like, oh no, yeah, she did.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think Phasma's coming back, which
Yeah.
I
get
that
that.
makes sense.
It seemed like, I think, which we may have talked about this before, I think Ryan was purposely leaving it open for
Yeah,
other media.
probably.
I think that she seems like a Boba Fett type character. Well, she'll come back in books and
Yeah, like
comics
you didn't
and
see
stuff.
Boba Fett die.
Right.
So, and then they go on asking.
Which, by the way, going back to the Mandalorian real quick, if Boba Fett is going to come back, this is the perfect place for it. And if he doesn't come back in the show somehow,
he doesn't need to
there's
come back.
I don't think there's any hope of him ever coming back.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that anyway.
He comes back and then they actually kill him, like for real.
Someone shoots his face off.
He appears in one episode and like literally in that same scene, he's dead.
And then they look at the camera. There,
Fine.
done.
Then they're talking to Kelly Marie Tran, and they're talking about like Finn and Rose, like what's the deal, and it doesn't seem like they're together. in the movie.
Finn and Rose?
Yeah, like the way they were talking about it, it says like they're still in war. Like they're still just getting to know each other. They don't have time to have relationships. So all the people that like want Finn and Rose to like be a thing, it doesn't sound like they're going to be as much a thing as you want from it.
Didn't Colbert ask about Finn and Poe? Did he at some point?
No, Oscar Isaac kept talking about Finn and Poe.
Oh, that's funny.
He kept leaning over and like winking and looking at John Boyega the whole time.
That was funny.
Yeah, like everyone was acknowledging the Finn and Poe thing.
Which by the way, when Kelly Marie Tran was, when Colbert got to her, everybody gave her a big,
just an extra long
cheer. And a big celebration.
And then later when she was on the live stage at Celebration,
the Star Wars show,
like the entire floor started chanting Kelly. And then cheering for like an extended period of time, and she started crying again. About it, which is
that was really
super extremely necessary for how horrible the internet was to her.
Yeah.
Because no one should go through what she had to go through.
Right.
So it's very,
very, very cool.
I'm glad as a fan. I'm glad that the fans treated her that way and made sure that she knew that the people that actually care about Star Wars care about her.
Right. That's the thing about all these shitty people on Twitter and stuff. It's like they're not.
It's
they're
such
not
a small
fans.
group, but it compacts so easily online that it makes it seem like it's everyone.
Sure, and they're not. I would say they're not actual fans. I mean, when you see people like this in such a large group treating her the way she should be treated,
right?
Yeah, it's easy to say these people are just shitty people. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just being characterized in media as Star Wars fans, and
the guy that says he likes Star Wars hates Asians. Okay. Therefore, all Star Wars fans.
Same thing with The Last Jedi. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Anyway.
So yeah, we're talking about the movie and how this is like almost like it's like a buddy adventure movie. It's a group adventure movie, so they're all going on this adventure together. Which is I'm very, very glad, and especially with it being the last one, the end of the saga, the last film in the saga.
Everybody's together.
That everyone is together on this adventure.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah. Naomi Aki's character, by the way, is Jannah. And so when they were talking about is there a relation to the
Solo?
When they were talking about is there a relation to Lando, that was when she was being like they were very purposely not saying her last name.
Jannah, yeah.
Like she said she couldn't say who.
So there is a Jannah Solo in the comics and in other media, right? There is another Jannah that is a female of darker skin color. You can't say a person is Star Wars African American because there's no Africa or America.
I don't know.
She's Tatooinean,
darker
whatever
skin color.
Yeah, there's extra tanned people in space. Yeah, that is because we're racist in America. So that we just call every black person African American, even if they came from Kenya, right? Or any other place that has black people or people of darker skin color. We just call them African American because that makes sense to us only. I'm assuming Star Wars is space is.
That reminds me, by the way.
Space is like accepting enough that they don't just have a term for black people, I assume, like that, like Americans do. I was just thinking about that. Let that be a lesson to you, Star Wars fans that aren't really fans that are racist. Star Wars doesn't have racism unless you're an alien.
That reminds me. Today, my son asked me, "Daddy, why doesn't everyone speak English?"
Oh God!
I was like, "Oh no,
you're raising an American. Good job."
He was legitimately very confused why people spoke other languages. Like
either your son's a horrible person or you are.
Well,
I can't decide.
It's yet to be seen. Either way,
that's pretty bad. You need to send him out into the world a little more or something. I don't know what you do with that. Good luck.
I had to explain to him. Well, buddy, English is just one of the other languages. Lots of people speak lots of different languages from different countries and stuff, and he was so confused about why. Well, just speak English. It's like, uh-oh.
Son, you understand America and all the problems we have.
A little too well.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, Jannah, there's a Jannah Solo, right? That's
They're definitely
that's
confirmed.
interesting. I mean, it's a divisive name just to give us Jaina, with them being a Jaina Solo,
Well,
and then also not having a last name to know if she's Calrissian.
well, yeah. I mean, that's the only thing is.
So
they
it's
were
either-
they were
it's-
very purposely not saying her last name, so it seems like it's some importance.
It's either Calrissian or like Han's long lost daughter.
Or it could be the Rey thing where it's just Rey and that's it,
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter.
It
who
doesn't
they
matter
are.
at all. They're just screwing with us because why not?
Is this the same conversation as Rey Skywalker,
Probably.
Jaina Calrissian? I guess it
Yeah,
doesn't really matter,
may
does
be.
it?
No. Yeah.
So Colbert asked Daisy Ridley about Rey and Anakin Saber, Rey/Anakin Saber,
Yeah.
about whether it's been rebuilt or like
If she
we're
built
in
her-
a
if
start
she
from.
built her
He
own.
said a start from scratch situation here, meaning like she built her own. And Daisy's answer was again very like hedging on the fence.
Yeah.
She said, "Well, my answer is my answer isn't the end of the story because there are many months and a film to come. Like
Yeah.
basically you'll see. But the lightsaber that Rey inherited from Luke lives,
Right.
as we see in the trailer
As we do see in the trailer.
later. But that answer is very interesting.
It is. And
That
it's weird.
maybe she could end up at the end of the movie with a new lightsaber, potentially.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, why wouldn't you just be clear?
Well, I mean,
about
once we start
that?
talking about the trailer, we have thoughts on that, right? But at the same time, I don't. If you're not going to start with the saber, why waste any time on her building a new lightsaber?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
So anyway, that was about it for the cast.
Right.
I didn't pay attention to anything Junis was saying.
I mean, we get so much from him already as being Chewbacca in everything because he does play Chewbacca perfectly.
Yeah, he's the new
Um,
Anthony Daniels in that he's going to be in every Star Wars movie now. Until
Right. Anything Chewbacca will ever be in, I mean,
pretty much.
he's got the job. He was talking about how, just even like being in Solo and getting to do it and just kind of how, the suit's almost like the same it was, back when they first made it type of thing. And
Yeah,
he was talking about how his son got to be in the movie, his little boy.
yeah.
Which that there's a picture of him of Chewbacca holding up this little kid that's like maybe 3, and it's like the cutest thing ever. What, as a child, how amazing is it to 1, have your father be Chewbacca, but 2, also have a picture of Chewbacca holding you as a Resistance baby in the sky, to have that for the rest of time.
That's true. You
If
better
that
be a
kid doesn't
Wars
like Star
fan.
Wars, he doesn't deserve that family.
Exactly. You better be a Star Wars fan.
So yeah, I mean, there was obviously different like shots behind the scenes type of stuff of the various locations, like Wadi Run and Jordan and different other locations that they were shooting
The
at.
scenes they were showing from Jordan looked really interesting. I mean, it's some big thing.
Big. They said they had like a lot of extras on set, and
Yeah.
like it seems like a big.
And we'll get
battle,
into this in a
big deal.
second, but it's a desert location.
Yeah,
And the things they're showing in the desert, in the trailer, raise a lot of questions
Yeah.
about what
Everything.
desert this is.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think it's Jakku
No, yeah, I don't think so.
or Jeddah.
Jeddah's pretty screwed up. If
Well, the
it's still
city-
around.
The city is. They didn't destroy the whole planet.
I mean, it started fracturing like that whole side of that area.
It's just like ooh now from Adventure Time.
Great.
There's just a big chunk there.
There's just a big hole. Fantastic.
All right,
Trailer.
Let's get into it.
First off,
before we get into the scenes,
what?
what were you gonna say?
We haven't even said the title yet.
Who cares? Everybody knows the title. Anyone listening to this show, this is the bottom of the bucket, Tyler.
Someone's like, that's a Star Wars podcast. I've never seen one of those. Let me listen in.
Well, first of
What
all,
do these men have to say?
there's no video. Wait a second.
It's
Where are the memes?
It's called The Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker.
The end. It's a very
All right,
divisive title.
not with me.
Well,
I like it.
We'll see. I mean, it's grown on me since
Oh.
since they first announced it. I was like, that's kind of lame.
I like it. I like it.
Um,
I like it more than any of the other titles that have been rumored.
Yes, it's better than the Will of the Force.
Or what was the other? Heir to the Legacy.
Heir to the Legacy.
Was the other one I heard
The Rise
of.
of Skywalker is cool. I mean, obviously, this is the Skywalker saga, and this is the last one, so it's important for the Skywalker name to live. I don't like that the acronym for it's going to be T-Ross.
Well, we put up a big deal about L337, and that ended up just being
She was still a bad character.
the character. The entire character was bad.
Yeah, I didn't like her.
Really? I
Yeah.
loved her. I loved it. I completely forgot about the name thing as soon as I saw it, the droid. You didn't like it at all?
I don't know.
Well, you're just a misogynist. That's why. That's
Yep,
it. That's
I
all it
don't
can
like
be.
female-sounding robots.
robots.
Very specifically, female robots.
No
I don't like
Alexa, no Siri.
them. Nope.
These are all females. That's weird, isn't it?
Google Assistant. I don't even give her a name. She's not worth it, apparently.
Mary.
Just assistant, get in here. Turn off my lights. Can you imagine if you had an assistant and treated them like you do your Google Assistant? That's a skit that has to have existed somewhere.
You're just in a wife beater with Cheeto dust on.
Hey, assistant, turn off my lights. And you have to walk in, flip them off.
You got it.
You got it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but only the things you would ask that to do.
Yeah.
Turn up the music, 50%.
But you still have to say it. You still have to say it the same way. Like you
Turn up
don't.
the music, 50%. It's like you have to be really specific.
Yeah.
Send a text to dad.
Yeah. You still have to yell it like you're yelling at your phone
Yeah.
because we all still yell at our phones for whatever reason.
Because you have to.
Yeah.
If you just talk in a normal voice, it's like,
My Google Assistant, when I say "Hey Google," if I say it in a normal tone of voice, it doesn't pick it up. I have to like say it with specific tones and like raising
Yeah.
pitches up and down for it to
hey,
pick it up.
Google.
Hey Google, like I have to say it like I'm asking a question, and then it'll bing on.
You have to, it bings for you?
Well,
Wow.
it lights up. But if I say it just in like "Hey Google," it doesn't pick it up. I'm like,
Hey, Google. Bing,
hey Google.
Bing this for me.
I have to do it like I'm about to like ask, like I'm getting into a question.
Like it's a commercial.
Like, hey Michael. I have to say it like that. Like, hey Michael, and then it's like yes, and then it listens to me. Otherwise, if I'm just talking to it, it's like it doesn't give a shit.
We have a HomePod at home. If I say, hey Siri and wait for a beat, it'll go, yes.
Like it just wants you to
You
tell
called?
It just wants you to say the thing and just not
Yeah.
even have to interact otherwise. What a shitty thing.
What were we talking about?
Episode 9. The
Oh,
Rise of
oh, that.
Skywalker. The Rise of Skywalker.
I love the title. I love it.
I do like it now.
Kathleen was on the red carpet, whatever they call it. She was doing interviews afterwards.
Right.
And somebody asked her about the title, and she was explaining how it's like it's just ambiguous enough that it raises questions, but it still has some specifics in it. I don't know. I
mean,
like
it's
that explanation,
It's the
and I
same
like
way
the
the
title.
Force Awakens title is. The same way the
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi is.
Yeah.
Um,
It makes you think.
for this
I like it.
this trilogy, for the prequel or the sequel trilogy, all of the titles are like that ambiguous question asking
Yeah.
title, unlike any of the other trilogies.
The Empire Strikes Back is very direct. That tells you
Return
exactly
of the
what's going
Jedi,
to
like
happen.
Return of the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
He's coming back. The A New Hope.
That's a little
And then the
general.
original ones is like the Phantom Menace, the Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones.
They're very sad names.
Attack of the Clones is such a stupid.
It has. It's
still think
that's
that's-
not the purpose of the movie, really. I mean, yes and no.
Revenge of the Sith, great title.
Yeah, the Phantom Menace.
Very, very general.
Very generic.
Phantom Menace.
Attack of the Clones is not really the important thing to take away from that movie.
Attack of the Clones. It just sounds
That's
like
a B movie at a
B
drive-in.
horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Attack of the Clones.
Tonight at the drive-in, Attack of the Clones, starring whoever.
Gary Gygax. I don't know.
Who's that? I was trying to think of Lon Chaney. That's who I was trying to think of.
Lon Chaney?
Yeah, that's.
Oh,
I
no.
don't know why. That's the name I was thinking of.
All right, what are we talking about? We have
Episode 9,
important
The
things
Rise
to
of
talk about.
Skywalker. This episode's gonna be too
Before we
long.
get into it,
Nope.
how did you feel watching the trailer?
Hard as a rock.
Hard as a rock. What is it? Solid as a rock.
Solid as a rock. Yeah. I smiled. many times. I 100% totally cried.
At the end? When?
Just most of the whole thing.
Came on.
No, I was actually as soon as it said
Do you cry? Do you cry like someone's stabbing you?
Yeah, like that? Sure.
I'm not sure what that was.
When it said the saga comes to an end, like that's the moment my eyes like completely teared up.
Oh, really?
Like just the realization, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I completely teared up, and then just like through the rest of it, and the stuff with Leia, like I at one point legitimately had a tear roll down my face
With the medal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had my hands on my face like a small child in amazement. I was
squooshing yourself.
I was actually crying while still smiling.
Yeah.
And my wife's sitting behind me like, what's happening? What have I done? What did I bring into my house? At the end, she's like, did you cry? I was like, I was crying the whole time.
This is my house, woman.
Get out of my house. I'm still crying about a movie trailer.
I was at work and I didn't cry. I got misty-eyed just with the excitement at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, we'll get into it in a second. But the very end, at that
when
part,
the thing with the stuff happens?
Yeah, when the thing happened at the very end, my heart froze and I couldn't see anymore.
You had instant paralysis.
I think I had a heart attack. I think that's what a heart attack is.
I think my heart stopped and I wasn't breathing, and also I couldn't see, and then I did see God, and then I came back because somebody was like pushing on my chest. I
was in a car on my back. There were guys in suits over me.
Were you just riding? Were you just like you're in the back of a van?
I was abducted by the FBI. Is what I tried to say.
I see. I was thinking of Home Alone when she's riding with that polka band in the back of a van.
I was thinking of the X-Files.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
So
I was very emotional the entire time that
we
trailer
were both
happened.
excited,
to say the least.
To say the least.
I think the trailer. I mean, they called it a teaser too. I think it is very good. It is just enough without being not enough. If that makes sense.
Excuse me?
I was very afraid that they'd give us a teaser that was like, just like,
oh, like with the Falcon,
a 15-second thing,
like
right?
the Force
Just
Awakens
like,
Falcon thing.
Look at a thing, and then you're like, I don't. That doesn't give me anything to be excited about.
Right, and it wasn't that.
Like I was thinking we would just get like a teaser, like a 15-second teaser with a title.
Yeah.
But no, this was like a full-on, like actual teaser. It's what, 2 minutes long, maybe?
I don't know. I didn't pay attention to how long it was.
And it's, I mean, you've got all kinds of stuff. So right, you know, you see the trailer. You've got Rey standing on a desert.
You got stuff like Rey.
You've got Rey.
Your pose.
You've got your pose and fins.
You got your 3POs and your BB-8s. It's 2 minutes and 4 seconds.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty decent sized teaser.
Oh damn it!
What?
Doug Chiang did a panel.
Yeah, he did.
Oh man, it's all these great panels I keep.
Yeah,
Alan Tudyk did a panel.
They were like all these little panels that like after the fact they uploaded.
Man, I wish I was. Droids and animatronic creature. All right,
yeah.
We're getting off track, but.
So yeah, you've got Rey standing in this desert. She's in her new Jedi outfit. Basically, it's like reminiscent of her old one, but she's also got a hood and like this wispy skirt thing that's hanging down. She's got she's got Luke's lightsaber hanging on her belt.
Yeah.
But she's still also got the blaster that Han gave her with her like Han holster on as well.
Yeah.
Which I think is 100% totally awesome to see somebody with a lightsaber and also a blaster on their hip.
Yeah.
So it's like the Han Solo Luke character, right? But just I can't even think of. I don't know. Just thinking of a Jedi with also having a blaster on them.
Well, Luke
That's just super
technically
cool to me.
Luke technically had a blaster in Return of the Jedi.
He
didn't
did.
he?
He did have his blaster. He didn't really use it all that much, right?
No, I don't think so.
But I don't know. Just with her whole outfit, everything about her looks awesome.
Yeah,
I think. And it looks very much more Jedi-like, right? You've got the white hood. You've got a little more robes-ish to it.
Yeah.
The way some of the stuff falls and hangs.
But she's still in her Jakku outfit, basically.
Essentially, yeah. Very. It's not changed much.
So she's still like herself, but
Yeah.
adding some of these more Jedi elements to it is pretty cool.
Yeah, and this desert, it looks real like Tatooine, but there's some more with deserts later.
Yep.
So it does give you somewhat close up of the lightsaber, of Luke's lightsaber, and where that big like button is on the side of it.
Yep.
It does have like this black band around it now.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming is where it's been fixed.
Yeah.
And pieced back together. So if you like when it like pans to her hip with the lightsaber right before she grabs it, you can see this black band surrounding where that big button is. That's definitely not there on Luke's lightsaber in any other form.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's how it's been fixed. She pulls it off, she lights it up. It's still blue.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like she rebuilt the lightsaber with her own crystal or a different color or anything.
Right.
It's definitely still blue.
Uh-huh.
For any other internet articles you read that say it's not blue. I've legitimately seen internet articles saying it's white.
Which at that point you're
colorblind. You should see a doctor.
Maybe go get your laptop fixed or something.
Right. So during this whole sequence, we've got Luke talking, saying we've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations live in you now, but this is your fight.
Yep.
And then of course the like trailer text comes up saying every generation has a legend.
Yep.
She lights a lightsaber, and then it cuts to this TIE fighter that's blasting towards her.
Mm-hmm.
It shows gloved hands in the cockpit, which you looked up.
Are
Kylo's
gloves.
The gloves it cuts to are Kylo's gloves. Whether this is
which could be clever editing,
yes,
or it could be he's in the TIE fighter. I think we're supposed to think he's in the TIE fighter, but it's just
because when we see the TIE fighter, it is 100% not Kylo's TIE fighter that we've seen so far.
Yes,
it is not his TIE silencer.
It looks exactly like a TIE interceptor, but like a special or like a first order,
like a special ops one with the red on the front.
Yeah.
I mean, the points on the wings are not as long as his TIE fighter.
The body,
the whole body, the cab area is not like his TIE fighter. His is more boxy.
Yeah,
and like extends out the back. This is round.
Right.
So this is either Kylo has a different TIE fighter,
mm-hmm.
or this is totally not Kylo running her down.
Right.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah, I want to say it's just a regular trooper.
She takes off running and then like does this flip over this thing, right? So at first, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, that's got to be a Force stream because the lightsaber is perfectly fine. But now that we've looked at that, the lightsaber has definitely been fixed.
Yeah.
So
there's some kind of seam there.
Probably not a dream. This is probably something that's actually happening.
Something, yeah. I mean, somebody was telling me it could be she's training, like this is some kind of practice, but at the same time, I don't know.
Yeah.
If this is just a regular TIE interceptor and it looks like a special ops first order one, maybe it is just
because we later see them, Finn, Poe, and C-3PO being chased by troopers as well, in a desert planet.
Right.
So it could just be part of whatever's happening on the desert planet.
Right.
Anyways, cut to this like foggy, cloudy,
mountainous region at night.
There's like this weird like mountaintop cities that are on like these like plateaus.
Yeah.
But you've got the spaceship that's flying in.
Here's the thing about the spaceship that's really rustling my jimmies. Thanks to the internet also pointing this out. Remember that ship that's flying off of Jakku that Rey looks at into the sky longingly? So Rey as a child. No, wait.
This was as an adult. This was when everything kicked off.
It's not the ship that Rey as a child sees when Unkar Plutt is holding her?
Or is it?
That's what was interesting. That's why I thought it was interesting.
I just watched it. I was just watching The Force Awakens today. And I totally didn't even remember to pay attention at that point in the movie. This is very
cool.
important.
Now we have to look this up while we're recording.
Oh, no, Michael.
All right. Well, you're right that it's...
Yeah, it's when she's an adult. It's that ship. It's when she's like cleaning off the parts or whatever, and that ship's flying off. Away. So this is when everything's about to kick off in The Force Awakens. She sees this ship flying away. Well, the ship that's flying into these mountains has the exact same profile on the back of it.
Yes.
The fins on the top of it, the way the engines are, like the fins that swoop off of the sides of the engines the profile of this ship in the Rise of Skywalker trailer has the exact same profile of the ship that she sees at the beginning of The Force Awakens. What?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Why that?
Yeah.
Of all the ships.
Of all the ships to show in the trailer, or there to be.
This ship
that
that
is
we
weird.
don't know anything about.
The ship that we don't know anything about, that she was drawn to look at in the sky for some reason.
Well, I think
But
she was just looking
she was doing
at
that,
it.
like longing, like I want to leave.
Right,
type of
how
thing.
Luke
Maybe.
was
Sure.
in A New Hope.
But everything has a purpose.
Looking at the sun.
This is before everything is kicked off with her and the Force and everything that goes down on the planet.
Yeah.
The stuff with Poe and the First Order has already happened that previous night, right? And now this is the next day with Rey.
Oh yeah. On Jakku you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't know what the ship is or who's on that ship that leaves. Right.
Right.
But we also see this ship in the trailer. That's all I'm saying. It's very weird for them to both have the same look.
Yeah, I don't even. I mean, since we don't know anything about what that ship was, other than it was just some
I just don't
freighter.
like it. It makes me angry
because it's unknown.
It's frustrating to me because of what happens at the end of the trailer that we'll get to. That like this ship was seen when everything kicked off, and now it's also being seen in the end of the movie.
Yeah,
or the end of the saga. It's just frustrating. It's whatever. So yeah, that's very interesting. I have no idea what it means. It could mean nothing. It could just be a similar ship of the same type, right? It could mean nothing at all, but I think it's very interesting to have shown that in the trailer.
Yes.
Then we've got a scene of Kylo, like, totally clotheslining a dude with his lightsaber and just throwing him to the ground, like, lifting him up and then forcing him to the ground, which is just a really cool shot.
Yeah.
Especially because he's got a lightsaber in his hand, but he still just has to, like, full-on chest punch this dude, just stabbing the hilt of his lightsaber into him and then just body slamming him, which would just suck. Then it cuts to a scene of Kylo's helmet being rebuilt, which confirms the rumors and leaks that his helmet would have these like red lines and stripes through them.
But the interesting thing about that scene was they are not human hands.
They're
from what we can tell.
Hairy hands.
They're hairy and gnarled and alien looking.
Yeah, so somebody's fixing his helmet. It's not like he fixed his own helmet.
Which is interesting because
could be some Ugnaughts, I don't know.
It's interesting because if he's not fixing his own helmet, does someone recover that off of Snoke's ship after he leaves it? Like how did they?
I mean, he smashed it in that elevator and then like walked off. So something had to clean it up.
You think,
at some point, I'm assuming.
You think his chaperone?
It's like a little mouse droid sweeping it all into a bin.
Is there just some weird creeper stalker on the ship that just loves him and has posters of Kylo Ren all over his wall?
Yeah.
Collects all his stuff.
They have a special room where they just keep all the trash for stuff he breaks in case they need to fix it again. It's a whole wing of the...
You'd think, yeah, there'd be a whole division devoted to that of just
Kylo trash.
Yeah. Things that they fix. They have multiple copies of everything he owns.
Right, so they can just replace stuff as soon as he breaks it.
Yeah. It's like the robot chicken guy with a mustache, like a Vader. Vader doesn't have the power to choke people. We just we bring them back with a mustache, and, and he never knows the difference.
It's just like that. Yeah, so his helmet's being fixed. It has the red stripes and the cracks in it, which is pretty cool. We never really see him with it on, or like what it looks like. Cut to a shot of Finn and Poe in desert landscape. Finn holding Rey's
I think actually
staff.
that ship might be from Child Rey. I'm 90% sure it is.
I don't know. Go back and watch Force Awakens and find out.
Everyone else knows the answer to this except us right now.
So cut to Finn and Poe in desert mountainous region. Finn has Rey's staff, which is kind of interesting that she's still tooling around with the staff.
It's interesting that Finn has it.
It is interesting that Finn has it as well, which means that they're on the desert planet with Rey, so the whole buddy adventure thing is still going on here.
Mm-hmm.
These mountains and the mountains in the background of that shot 100% look like Tatooine.
They do.
It really looks like Tatooine.
Yeah. Well, so
getting to a scene in just a moment, we get a shot of BB-8 and D-Bot, whatever his name is.
Dio.
D-Bot is
D-Bot.
a robot vacuum brand. So sure, D-Bot. Cut to Lando in the Falcon, which is really
D-Bot!
cool.
Turn my lights up 50%.
You're asking your vacuum to turn your lights up. I like the idea that it like drives up the wall to hit the switch.
It's like a pool cleaner.
Yeah, it's trying to get out. You cut to Lando in the Falcon, flying it.
Laughing his little ass off.
I got it back, dead bitch. That's what's happening.
I really liked that
lines.
the screenshot, the still that they showed of him, was his yellow shirt from Solo.
Yeah, it's
That
like
he still has
it's like he
his-
still has the outfits
Yeah.
from Solo. He just had them like
that was pretty great.
he's had them taken out
That
so
was-
that he can fit in them now.
Yeah, that was pretty great, I thought.
Then, of course, you've got more trailer text that pops up saying the saga comes to an end. Cue me crying. Then cut to wide shot of desert landscape with a skiff driving towards the camera with explosions in the desert and a shitload of moisture evaporators.
Moisture evaporators.
Which totally
What's the
sounds-
only planet that has moisture evaporators?
Yeah, definitely the only planet that has them.
Ever.
Still, I mean, everything sounds like this is Tatooine, right?
So, okay, so we've got two things now that say this is Tatooine. You got desert and you have moisture evaporators. Sure. There's a third thing.
There's a third thing. So you see these stormtroopers, one like on a speeder bike, it looks like driving. You've got like jetpack troopers also chasing them, which look really cool.
Yeah.
And then cut to Finn, Poe, and C-3PO on a skiff that really 100% looks like the skiffs that are on Tatooine in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Like it really looks like a Tatooine skiff, like the guard skiffs they had when throwing them into the Sarlacc.
Yeah.
Same like controls, like this really is sounding like it's Tatooine.
So what would they? Well, okay, we'll come back to that because there's something at the end that.
Yes. Cut to an A-wing being shot out of the sky. This A-wing does have the coloration and the body build of a Resistance A-wing.
So the new model.
This is important
But-
because it is flying beside a Star Destroyer. It is crashing beside a Star Destroyer. If you can catch the clips, catch the screens of that Star Destroyer in the background, that bridge of that Star Destroyer,
It's an Imperial class Star
it
Destroyer.
has the balls on the edge, the little bally, like
It has balls.
you know, on the Imperial
They were
bridge,
the
they have
deflector
like those
shield
little
projectors.
deflector shield balls on each side of the bridge.
Yeah.
And of course, it has the boxy bridge shape. And as it flies by, if you catch some of what the front of the Star Destroyer looks like too, this really does seem like this is an Imperial class Star Destroyer, not a first order Star Destroyer.
Yeah. The shape of the bridge, the fact that the deflector balls seem to be there, and then there's a little piece at the very top of the bridge
Right.
that.
And so
only
the
exists
important
on
thing about this
that
A-wing
class.
is that it's a Resistance A-wing, which means this is not a flashback.
Yeah.
This is now, but there's also
An Imperial class
Imperial
Star
Star
Destroyer,
Destroyer.
not a first order fancy Star Destroyer.
yes.
And like you said, the Star Destroyer has some markings and coloring that make it look a little old
Kind of, yeah.
or customized in some way. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just the front of it. I mean, it definitely looks like an Imperial Star Destroyer.
The coloration of the shot looks desert-ish. So is that related to the
Right.
Tatooine stuff? I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of clever editing going on here.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that. But why is there an Imperial class Star Destroyer?
We'll get to that in a minute. Cut to Leia's hands holding Han's medal from just blowing up the first Death Star, which is,
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry when I see that happen. Scene of Rey and Leia hugging on a foresty planet. Luke then says, "We'll always be with you," again with the "we."
Yeah.
So this is like the Force Ghost party talking to her, right?
Yeah. The Force Ghost party.
Are we gonna see an Anakin Force Ghost?
I think so. So
I
yeah,
really do
well,
think
well,
so, yeah.
the very end
Anyways,
of this,
cut to my favorite shot of the entire trailer with almost everyone in it.
everyone together.
Finn, Poe, Rey, BB-8, C-3PO, and Chewie.
Yep. And Dio.
Yeah, so before we get to this really big freaking deal, real quick, where the hell has R2 been this entire trailer?
Yeah.
You've got shots with C-3PO with Finn and Poe.
R2 was on the Falcon.
You've got the full buddy shot with everybody but R2-D2.
Yeah.
Where is R2 and why is he not with them? We've seen Lando on the Falcon, but Chewie was with them, but Chewie's with them now.
Yeah.
Why? Why is R2 not with them?
Yeah.
That literally does that. It legitimately upsets me that R2's not on the adventure.
This feels like Force Awakens all over again, where everyone is asking. I was asking, where's Luke?
I mean, R2 may be staying with Leia just because of everything that's happened. Maybe. I could see that.
Maybe.
It's just weird to me that C-3PO is still doing all this, but like
I don't
R2,
think Leia dies in this movie.
It's very possible, yeah.
I forget who was the one that was saying that Leia was going to die, but one of us said.
I think maybe me.
I think so. I don't think she's going to die.
It's highly possible. But I don't like that C-3PO is going on all these adventures
without R2.
Because like R2 was the one that was always pushing him into the adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
So to me, it's upsetting that R2 is not there.
It seems like they're repositioning C-3PO to be more adventurous and independent now. Somehow in these movies.
I don't know. I want R2.
Like BB-8 is his new little buddy for some reason, even though they haven't really been together that long.
Yeah.
Not that droids really have those types of relationships.
I mean, we didn't really have that much C-3PO in The Last Jedi. Honestly.
I guess. And he was separate from R2 for a lot of it.
Yeah.
For the whole thing, pretty much.
I mean, something you said when we weren't recording, but just like, so what does R2 do when Luke's gone? Like, R2 is always... I don't know.
Right, that was something I was thinking about, was he went into low power mode just because Luke left.
Right.
So what happens when Luke dies?
It's interesting. So cut to like the biggest freaking deal ever. A wide shot of...
So there's the scene with everybody together in this kind of dead grassy area.
You know, facing them, and then cut to shot from behind them of the massive wreckage of the Death Star's laser array.
Yeah.
Dish. And looking at some of that, the way the shaping of it looks like this is possibly the second Death Star's laser array. But then just cut to black. While that's showing, Luke says no one's ever really gone. Then cut to black, and then the Emperor's laughing.
The Emperor Palpatine,
is laughing.
Starts laughing.
And then, of course, on the panel, they cut back to the stage, and Ian McDiarmid is standing there, and then in Emperor voice says, "Roll it again," and then they show the trailer again.
Yeah.
So it's like 100% confirmation this is the Emperor laughing, right? And the Emperor is involved.
Yeah.
So that one even more makes me think this is the second Death Star, because that is the one where the Emperor actually died on.
Yeah.
2, I wonder if this is one of the indoor planets where the second Death Star was blown up at.
You know, that was something I went and looked up. This is not related to the Emperor thing, but I went and looked this up thinking, for some reason, I always thought the moon they were on with the deflector shield projector was a moon for Endor. Kind of how Yavin 4 was a moon for
something else.
For Yavin, or...
Yeah,
right?
The forest moon of Endor.
But the moon is called Endor.
Okay.
And it's a moon, but there's no
Endor.
There's no planet. There's no...
Got it.
For some reason that was always confusing to me.
So
anyway,
this who knows where this could be, because
so this could be Endor, maybe,
or somewhere close.
This
by.
is like Ewok Holocaust Endor now.
Yeah, rough ocean and like
gray skies.
Yeah, it's totally possible. So it almost, to me, seems like they're revisiting locations, right? You've got Tatooine, you've got Endor. They're going back to all these places on whatever adventure they're on.
Yeah.
And in The Force Awakens, in design art and stuff they had used for Force Awakens, there was some artwork of a female swimming underwater around Death Star wreckage.
Yeah.
So this has been an idea that's already been in the works with stuff with revisiting the Death Star.
Yeah, this is concept art from the JJ era.
Yes.
From Force Awakens, yeah.
Correct.
So
they're revisiting locations. The Emperor's laughing. There's an Imperial era Star Destroyer.
What is happening.
This is so going back to like the Thrawn novels and even the Aftermath novels, right? The Emperor had a plan. There's always been this plan. He led them into the unknown regions, and that's where our information with the plan stops.
So there was so the defeat or the second Death Star blew up, whatever, everyone was kind of thrown into a disarray for a little bit, but then Operation Cinder
Yes.
was issued by the Emperor's own Sentinels,
right.
using his voice and all that. And we had assumed in those comics that this was all, I mean, I guess it has to be pre-recorded stuff.
I assume.
Anyway, Operation Cinder was all about, in the Emperor's own words,
like gathering the Empire back together.
Well, first of all, he specifically said, burn everything. So a new, or burn the old empire that failed, essentially, so a new one can rise out of its ashes.
Yeah. So they like basically gathered the remnants and then left into the unknown regions, right?
After all that.
Yeah. After being
during
able
the
to,
Aftermath
after
series.
calculating the path out, right? And they were all going to go meet up, and that's like where our information stops. We don't have anything. We don't know what took place after that.
And then things kind of pick up for what we know in the like Bloodlines era, where
the First Order is starting to build up.
Right. Mm-hmm. Starting to get funded in secret.
But now the Emperor's laughing in the trailer. We've most likely got an Imperial era Star Destroyer. Is that plan now finally coming to a head? Whatever his plan was and has been, is this it?
Was the First Order part of his plan?
Was Snoke part of his plan?
Right.
Was any of this part of his plan?
Did he literally mean, did he anticipate his death and the end of the Empire? And did he assume that his death would mean, okay, time for plan B?
And you've got Luke saying no one's ever really dead, and that could just be from a Force perspective. But at the same time, has Palpatine figured out what Plagueis had been trying to figure out about living, regenerating or eternal life?
Remember the old EU timeline, the EU canon where the Emperor was reincarnated.
Yeah, which was I forget what that arc was called. It had a name. People have been talking about it because of this.
Was it like Darksaber or something? No, it wasn't Darksaber. No. What was it?
But yeah, I mean, it's very much seems like it's pulling again like pieces from EU stuff, and
repurposing it a little bit.
This piece of this with the trailer and this movie is something I never ever considered or imagined being a part of.
Me either.
And I probably should have, and I feel stupid that I didn't expect it. Because every other piece of media has been leading to the Emperor having a plan, and the Emperor always, all this stuff is about the Emperor having plans,
right?
And Aftermath and the Thrawn trilogy. I mean, and all these books,
everything we've been led to believe so
far. Comics with the Sentinels, like everything has been like the Emperor has always planned for everything and been behind most of everything.
Exactly, and
had this long game.
And what we've been led to believe, at least up until this very moment, was that it was all foiled by Luke, essentially, in the rebellion.
Yeah, but I mean, but we had Aftermath and the Shattered Empire, and they left, and then they just left. Like, we don't know what happened after that. Why didn't I think about the fact that we didn't know what happened after that, and that they come back at some point? This is a big deal.
Or that he foresaw something like this happening,
right?
And planned for it.
Or I mean, if Force ghosting, planning, like just leading the whole thing.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
What's more likely?
I feel so stupid.
What's more likely that he? I mean, he's literally said that he has figured out the secret, Plagueis' secret, and he can. Yeah. He could teach Anakin. He's literally said that.
He did say that, but he could have just been saying that to get Anakin, right? He was saying all that to entice Anakin in the first place.
Sure.
So whether he actually knew or not, who's to say?
But what's more likely, that he's actually figured that out, or that he's operating from within the Force?
I don't know.
See, the thing about the Force ghost thing is that is something that's essential, or it's a central part of the living Force, which is the light side.
Right, yeah.
So only people who are one with the living force, people like Qui-Gon, Yoda, and now Luke, Obi-Wan also,
and yeah, Anakin.
and Anakin now too, I guess. But only people that become one with the living force become Force ghosts. Like there's no concept of the dark side of the Force retaining anybody's
Not yet.
personality when they die. You know.
Not yet. Yeah.
So I'm thinking this is a Palpatine that cheated death somehow. Like he never
possible.
died.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's just from what I know about what he said and what I know about the
Right. But
Force
yeah, it
ghosts
seems like they're revisiting
around.
locations from. I mean, you've got Tatooine, possibly Endor. You've got the Emperor and
What could
Imperial.
that be? Why would they need to be visiting
Right. Yeah.
significant locations from history? What would they need? The only thing with Tatooine I could think of is like Obi-Wan's hut or
Unless
Luke's home, or
unless the Emperor had one of his like secret hideouts there, like he had on Jakku.
do you really think they would pull something like that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
It's very upsetting, but also extremely perfect.
Well, so when you were just talking about how you never saw this coming, I feel the same way, but seeing this is like, oh, wait a minute. This makes sense.
No shit. Of course.
This makes sense in a way that the whole Snoke thing didn't make sense to me. To where
this makes sense in a way where the Snoke thing is probably now going to make sense.
Exactly. Where like before, up until now anyway, the whole Snoke thing, like we were led to believe, okay, this guy, you know, the First Order was funded by a bunch of people who wanted the Empire to come back, basically, and somehow this guy, Snoke, this alien, connected with them. Somehow, somewhere, in some way, they met and share goals.
So what if Snoke was the Emperor?
No, that's too far out there, I think.
He's a pretty fucked up looking dude.
For one, for the fact
reincarnated guy, maybe.
Well, one, for the fact that it seemed like Snoke had a completely different personality, and two, because
could have just
he
been,
dies.
Well, he
again.
does die. Could have just been like, inhabited by the Emperor.
He's possessed.
He's puppeting. Yeah, he's possessed.
The Emperor's just hopping around souls, hopping around containers, bodies.
I mean, the Emperor could have just been puppeting him, too. Snoke.
I don't know about that though, because what we know about the Emperor, he was very controlling, very secretive. I don't.
Snoke is so flashy.
Snoke is very flashy, and Snoke seemed like he had his own goals that were very different from the Emperor's.
Yeah.
Like he was separated from the military might aspect of everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas the Emperor was that was a tool of his.
Yeah. I mean, just giving this glimpse of the Emperor makes me feel like, okay, yeah, there's obviously been a plan and they're going to explain what was going on this entire time.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes me feel that way, at least from the perspective of, oh yeah, the Emperor always has a plan, so all of this happened for a reason. So now we're going to find out what that reason is.
Well, exactly like you said, everything we've been led to believe about the Emperor so far is that he foresees things and he plans for things.
He plans way ahead. He planned after his death, right? He planned the entire plan of what the Empire needed to do after he died.
Right. And even just the stuff with Thrawn, he only brings Thrawn in because he felt this threat that Thrawn was talking about, you know? Like he's already considered that whole thing.
Right, exactly.
So it's like every time we see the Emperor pop up in something, in some story, in whatever media, it's him, you know.
But to bring this in this
being extra careful and planning for things.
But to bring this into this final movie of the last movie of the saga is so perfectly full circle. for the saga too. So I mean, you've got the Skywalker saga from Anakin, right, all the way through now to Kylo is the last Skywalker that we know of.
Yeah.
And the Empire, the Emperor or Palpatine, starting at the very end too, and it finishing with him as well. Just like bringing the whole thing full circle from both the light and the dark side.
Yeah.
And we probably need to wrap this up, but getting into the actual title, the I can't even remember the beginning of the title. The Rise of Skywalker. I remember the word rise. The Rise of Skywalker.
The ride.
So after the end of the trailer,
the ride of Skywalker.
Yeah, it cuts to the title. Finally,
Yeah.
we get a title, Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, and it plays this piece of music, the score. That is
The first two hits are
it's partially the normal hit like that, like
yeah.
but then it goes into like Kylo's theme, but it's a different version of Kylo's theme.
Well, so the first two hits are the first notes of Kylo's theme. That first order theme. I'm pretty sure it's Kylo's theme.
Yeah.
That plays. But then the next hits are, I don't know if they're they're not the same notes, but it might be the same progression, but it goes into a major key. Like it goes up.
The music's it's like a version of Kylo's theme that then rises up.
Yeah.
Which is so totally perfect for giving us the title, The Rise of Skywalker, then playing a Skywalker's theme song and it rising to the next key.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so good. That's just the thought behind that.
I mean, this is
happy.
Reading way into this, but I think Kylo.
Well, Kylo is a Skywalker.
Yeah.
That confirmed.
I'm glad we have that.
I don't want anyone else to be a Skywalker at this point. No one else needs to be a Skywalker, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's the whatever that means, right? It's such a divisive title, The Rise of Skywalker. Like,
it could be the legend rising, the legend of Luke rising. It could be the redemption of Kylo. It could be Skywalker as a general term for light side of the Force users. I mean,
right? It's just Skywalker, just like that term, and it could just be a title, almost at this point. It's a mantle.
It could be a lot of different things.
Yeah. So upset.
I want more. I want
just the ideas from the teaser are so good. Like these are fantastic ideas that I cannot wait to see fulfilled.
I want just a little bit more.
It is not at all really what I expected going into any footage that we were going to get.
No, me neither.
And
I think that's why I was so happy.
I'm so happy about that. This is not going where I thought, and I'm so happy that it's going here because that's exactly where it should go, and I should have known that, and I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. And I'm sure we won't be given anything else about this movie for like another 6 months.
The way that, I mean, this is really early probably to be saying this, but the way that I felt going into Last Jedi, where we talked about this a while ago, where we knew going into Last Jedi, it was going to be divisive. It was going to be,
right.
It was going to be a little bit controversial and bittersweet just because of what they were saying about Luke in Force Awakens, about how he went through something terrible and ran off.
Right.
And then Rey finally finds him, and then this movie is going to tell us what happened with Luke.
Right.
And that was going to be a bittersweet story. And it was.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it ended up being. But yeah, the feeling of that kind of bittersweet, like, I need to know what happened, but I know I'm not going to like it.
Yeah.
That's not the feeling I'm getting from this at all. This is just from this little bit, I'm getting a feeling of, wow, this is exactly what needs to happen.
Yeah, like, oh shit, it's happening.
Right.
It's finally happening.
Right.
I didn't know. I don't know what it is, but it's happening, and I'm gonna and I want it. I want it to happen.
Right. Right. I think it's just that combination of, okay, we've got all these new characters in this new story, but they're still connected with this through line that's finally.
Right. And I don't think I'd seen any rumors or any leaks or anything about the Emperor's involvement or anything, just even the thought, any people even just trying to think about what the last movie would be about. I haven't
seen
heard the
anything,
Emperor
and I
in any of those conversations.
And like you said, I haven't even considered that.
Right. And I love that it's going to that place where, yeah, duh, of course that's where it needs to go. But like at the same time, like I don't think anyone expected it to go there.
Yeah.
And it's that perfect through line to wrap up this saga.
Yeah. So now it's just we got to figure out
why.
What was the Emperor?
What's going on with the Emperor and the Empire?
What is his goal with the First Order, if he was involved in that at all?
He succeeded in getting rid of Luke in one way or another.
Yeah.
So now what?
You've got Kylo. I don't know. Did he though? Because now Luke is.
Does he want Kylo, the Skywalker, to rise to his place in the dark side of the Force? Is that the Rise of Skywalker that the Emperor wants? But at the same time, are we going to get a redemption where the Skywalker rises in a good way?
That's a good point. The rise could be a bad. I mean,
well, it could be both. Like, right? Like that's what the Emperor wants, is him to rise to the occasion. Now, like we've gotten rid of Luke. This is the chance for me to bring in and regain the dark side of the Force. But at the same time, like on Rey's side, she's still trying to get Skywalker to rise to the light. And so it's very like it can go, that title can go either way with the Skywalker that we know is in the film, and what will actually happen with him. And yeah, just the fact that seems to be an Imperial Star Destroyer and that the Emperor is involved. Like there's so many implications to that.
Yeah.
That gets me so excited because of all this stuff that's been in the books that I've been excited to read about. And like, there was always this plan. Like, it seems like all that's coming to a head finally.
All this teasing.
Everything that's been building in every form of media is like, it's coming down to this.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited. I can't wait. I need more.
I know, that's what I was saying. We just need just a little bit more, just to
2 more hours of footage.
Just confirm, just a tiny little bit, please.
Right.
2 more hours of footage.
Yeah, just like 3 more hours of footage. It's all in just like a 4-hour teaser with and like
with all the characters and everything they say,
and like
all
consecutive
the scenes
in like chronological order,
and all the scenes together, and there's music and.
Yeah, just edit it into like one complete package. That'd be great.
Right. Thanks. You can put credits at the end.
Yeah, sure.
The title at the beginning.
Like a crawl if you want. Yeah.
You know. Whatever. I mean, whatever. However you want to do it.
Just a little package like that would be great. Like sometime like May.
Put it in a room. I can sit down and watch it.
With like a couple other 100 people?
I'll pay to see it.
Sure.
Sure. I mean, this one was free. I'll pay to see the next one.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking. Oh, December. That's all we have.
December is
at
too
the end.
far
It says
away.
December, and so that's a long ass time.
Too far.
Yeah. All right. Well, we should probably end this so that we can just go yell and cry at the same time about this movie. Michael, is there anything else that we need to talk about that it's going to
that we haven't already talked about?
Yeah, right. This has probably been more than long enough.
No.
No?
Is that the right answer?
Probably not. No, hopefully we'll continue to get stuff about the Mandalorian, and then of course, now that we've got information on the Rise of Skywalker, hopefully there will be more to come from the various internet corners that have information.
Like you said, though, the fact that the Emperor's involvement, at least as far as we've seen, hasn't been leaked.
It's
how much information.
JJ specifically was saying in an interview how he was so glad that of all the people that knew about this and probably could have leaked it, that no one did.
Yeah.
Because that the conversation of the Emperor being involved, I wasn't seeing that conversation happening anywhere.
Yeah.
So this is really cool.
Yeah, as far as further leaks,
right?
I don't know. We'll see,
man.
I mean, at this point, we're just gonna get more and more information,
hopefully,
in some way. All
right. Well, that's been more than enough. As always, go on iTunes, leave us a review. You can hit us up on Twitter at Hokey_religion. You can send us an email at asklobot@hokeyreligion.com. If you really like us, hit up patreon.com/hokeyreligion where you can support the show. Otherwise, I am out of feelings. right now because of Star Wars.
The Spielings are fent.
Yep, that's exactly how I feel. All right, this is episode 93. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Goodbye.
And that has been this one. Goodbye.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons. Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side.